Okay, the partner one, the Institute of Biotechnology, worked in two work packages, package 1 and 4. Work package 1 is the analysis of the genome, of the sequence of the genome of Streptomyces succubaensis. We characterize tacrolimus gene cluster and regulatory genes, and in this sense, the genome of Streptomyces succubaensis was sequenced in Bielefeld and then was manually edited by people in the university, in the group of León. The genome is 7.62 megabases, has 2 circular plasmids, and contains about 6,600 protein encoding open reading frames. Using different bioinformatic programs, we found that has 20 secondary metabolite gene clusters, in addition to the cluster of tacrolimus. Using this genome, we studied the genes for tacrolimus biosynthesis. They were subcloned. We studied a cluster of genes for butyrolactone biosynthesis and regulation, and genes for the ethyl-malonyl-CoA pathway. Also, work package 1 gave the 4 regulon, the genes controlled by phosphate, to partner to work package 4. The nitrogen metabolism, structural and regulatory genes to work package 2. The genes relate to oxidative stress to package 3, and cluster for other metabolites to work package 5. This is the tacrolimus gene cluster. As you can see in different color, there are different type of structural and regulatory genes. We were at the beginning interested in the regulatory genes. The regulatory genes are 3, are the FKBR, FKBN, and all R genes. These 3 genes are regulatory genes of different types. This one resulted not important. I mean, all R was not interesting, but the other 2 were disrupted, and it was found that they were important for tacrolimus production. FKBR produces a decrease of about 50% in tacrolimus production, but FKBN is very important, really. The lithium results in complete loss of the antibiotic. Therefore, both genes were introduced. Additional copies of these regulatory genes were introduced in the wild-type strain, and it was found that introduction of these regulatory genes resulted in increasing production of tacrolimus, so we got transformants producing even 70% more tacrolimus than the wild type. A different cluster also related to tacrolimus production was the cluster encoding the butyrolactones. Butyrolactones initiate the production of secondary metabolites by binding butyrolactone receptor proteins. And we found a cluster in the Streptomyces succubaensis genome that contains 2 genes for butyrolactone receptor proteins, 2 genes for butyrolactone synthetases, and 2 genes for regulatory sharp proteins, which are proteins related to antibiotic production, regulatory proteins for antibiotic production. So the BUL-R and BUL-R1 and 2 genes were overexpressed, the proteins were purified, and these purified proteins with EMSA studies and footprinting allowed the detection of different boxes for binding. These are the boxes, are 28 palindromic sequences and are located in all these positions. To understand the importance of these genes were separately deleted and the effect on production was studied. BUL-R2 was not important, but BUL-R1 was essential. The deletion of this gene resulted in an 80% decrease in production of tacrolimus. The other genes were of medium importance. BUL-S1 and S2 decreased a little bit the production of tacrolimus, and the 2 regulatory genes increased the production, probably by cross-regulation. So In this point, we know that it's possible to get better producer strains by increasing the copy number of the BULR gene, BULR1 gene. Work Package 4 has to study the regulation by phosphate of tacrolimus production. Tacrolimus production is very dependent on the phosphate present in the medium. If phosphate is high, then there is no production of the compound or is very delayed. Regulation by phosphate in Streptomyces is similar to regulation of phosphate in E. coli. There is a two-component system for R, for P. For R is a sensor. For P is a binding protein that is phosphorylate and bind to specific phoboxes in the genes that are controlled in the regulon. All the genes for the regulon have been located in Streptomyces succubaensis, and most of them have been subcloned in cosmids. Also, many phoboxes have been found in Streptomyces succubaensis. But the main objective of this part of the project was to disrupt the 4R, 4P genes in order to get strains that were deregulated and could grow and produce in the presence of high phosphate concentration. Unfortunately, all the attempts to disrupt the 4P gene were unsuccessful. We only got single crossover recombinant, even using 3 different strategies, completely different strategies to get the double crossover recombinant. We used the redirect approach, which is the classical approach, positive selection for double crossover recombinant, and a modification of this second process with a thermosensitive replicon. No 4P deleted mutants could be either obtained even after thousands of colonies studied. So we decided to modify the strategy and redirect the objective to study the interaction of phosphate and carbon source exerting carbon catabolite regulation of tacrolimus production in succubaensis. Production of tacrolimus was studied in Mg medium, and we found that maltose, sucrose, and other sugars produce a large amount, permit the production of large amounts of tacrolimus, but glycerol, and especially glucose, did not permit the production of tacrolimus, so it was a clear carbon catabolite regulation. Then we decided to make transcriptomic studies. The strains were grown, the sugar was added at 70 hours, and then samples were taken to study expression of all the genes in the genome. Okay, this produced a large amount of material, and I will just mention that 3 main patterns of expression have been found. A pattern is that of 4P. Some genes, as 4P, when phosphate disappears, is deleted from the medium, increase their expression, and these genes are not regulated by sugars. They behave exactly the same in the presence of glycerol, glucose, or maltose. Other genes, as this regulator, ADPA, increase the production, the expression of the gene when phosphate is deleted, but only in the presence of the permissive sugar, maltose, not in the presence of glycerol or glucose. And finally, other genes, as the tacrolimus biosynthesis genes, they, when phosphate is deleted, they increase strongly expression, even 10 times, but in the presence of non-permissive sugars, they are not expressed. Okay. Work Package 2 is the Institute of Microbiology and Infection Medicine in Tübingen University. This group is working on the regulation, nitrogen regulation of primary metabolism and biosynthesis of tacrolimus, and looking for nitrogen that regulate mutants. Their strategy is to construct strains able to use nitrate, a substrate that increases production of other antibiotics, optimize the production of pipecolic acid, which is a tacrolimus precursor, and also optimize lysine biosynthesis, which is a precursor of pipecolic acid. When the genes for nitrogen regulation were studied in Streptomyces succubaensis, it was found that these clusters were different from those of Streptomyces salicolor. Most of the genes were there, but all this group of genes here are absent from Streptomyces succubaensis genome. These genes are for nitrate assimilation, nitrate transport, and nitrite reductase, and a gene for a regulator, NNIR. In fact, Streptomyces succubaensis grow very well on ammonium, glutamine, glutamate, arginine, but is not able to grow on nitrate. So thinking that perhaps it was interesting to get strains able to use nitrate because perhaps they will produce more tacrolimus, the group studied the utilization of nitrate by Streptomyces. In salicolor, there is a regulator which activates a gene for transport of nitrate, and then the nitrate reductase and the nitrite reductase. And salicolor gives a very good nitrate to nitrite assay and indicating that this is working. But in the case of succubaensis, this gene is not present. Perhaps there is a second gene for the transport of nitrate, and perhaps there is a second gene for reduction of nitrate. They are other genes, are not very similar, but they are there in the genome. And in fact, succubaensis is not able to give nitrate reduction. Okay, in salicolor, it's known that the general regulator of ammonium, GLNR, with this regulator are important, both of them, to activate the nitrate utilization genes. The nitrate utilization genes are activated during general nitrogen limitation, are activated when nitrate is in the medium, but they are repressed in the presence of high ammonium concentration. So perhaps the problem was not this gene, and the group of Tübingen introduced the NNIR gene from Streptomyces salicolor in succubaensis, and they got a strain that was able to grow on nitrate and was able to reduce nitrate.